Alright there, YouTube. So we got a little bit of an unexpected repair video for you guys here today. Not sure how much time I'm going to spend on recording and how much I'm just going to get it done. But this morning our water pump decided to start leaking pretty bad on us, so it was only about 40 miles out of route to swing by the shop here today, so that's what I did. They didn't have a new water pump in stock at the local Mack dealership. They did have one at the Mack dealership 200 miles away, so I'm getting one same day courier serviced over here. Hopefully it should be here within the next few hours, and we're going to go ahead and start pulling this water pump off. Now, I just replaced this water pump a little under 2 years ago, back when I did the video on replacing the radiator on this truck, and so I suppose that was probably about a year and 10 months ago probably. I suppose they probably only have a 1-year warranty on these, but I'll probably ask them about that when I go to pick up the new one. But you can see, I hope you can see anyway, right where I'm pointing there is where the weep hole on the water pump is, and it's leaking pretty good out of there. You can see all this white that's blown up on the outside of the water pump and all over along back here. You can actually see some little puddle of antifreeze there. This is leaking pretty good running down the road. I had to add about 2 gallons of coolant to this thing just to make it home. And when I replaced this last time, I didn't do a video on it because this water pump setup's kind of unique to Mack. I don't know of any other Class 8 trucks that have a water pump set up like this, so I didn't record it, but we're going to go ahead and do a video on it here this time. And let's get started. You want to go ahead and try to drain the antifreeze here. If I can get this petcock loose. Come on. Trying to capture this in a clean bucket here so that we can reuse it. Alright, so while that's draining, we're going to go ahead and start trying to take this fan clutch off of here. I'm going to go through and try to break these all loose with the fan clutch locked here so I can hold on to the fan. Keep it from turning. There we go. So I got these things good and tight when I put this fan clutch on here. Okay, so I got all the bolts just cracked loose. Disconnect this push lock connector, and then we're going to pull this air line down through there, and then we're going to take these bolts out and we can take the fan clutch off. And we can go ahead and just take this belt off. Take the AC belt off. Get this coolant line, comes off the water pump, goes to the air compressor. Hopefully we're drained down below the water pump here already. Its radiator's still draining. Bunch of water comes out of here. I'll have to stick it back on here real quick. Okay, that should be good. I'll take that. I'll probably need to use that fitting on the new water pump, but I'll just go ahead and take that off the pump after I take the pump off. And then we've got all these bolts around here that hold the water pump on. These are all 10 millimeter. And we got, I think it was all 7 of them there, and then we've got 2 15 millimeters on the oil cooler here. We got to take them out, and then the water pump should be ready to come off. TV on there, so it's going to take a little persuasion to get her loose. Alright. Alright, so that's the water pump out of there. We're take a minute to clean this up here, and still got a little bit of time before the new part gets here. So here's the old water pump. You can see it actually still looks pretty good. The bearing feels tight. There's no play in the bearing. Right there's that weep hole I was talking about that the coolant was coming from. So basically, just that seal down underneath there has gone bad. You probably could press this impeller off and get a seal and put a seal in there, but just get another water pump, throw it on, be done with it. So that's what we're gonna do. Hopefully the new water pump should be here within an hour. Alright, so we got the new water pump here, new gaskets. Gasket surfaces are all cleaned up over here. Let's put this pump back on. Bolt holes do go through into the water, so we want to coat these bolts with a little bit of sealant as well. And then we get all of our bolts started. Okay, so we got all the bolts started. Now, down here on this bottom hole, it's actually the water pump side is the side that's threaded on these bolt holes, and these bolts go through the oil cooler into here. And seems previously this bottom bolt hole had been stripped out. And this is a reman water pump. Previously this bottom bolt hole had been stripped out, and somebody had drilled it out and retapped it to a different size bolt. Now luckily I had a bolt that fit that, but when I first put the bolt that's supposed to go in that hole in there, it was like throwing a weenie down a hallway. So that's really no good. If if it wasn't going to cost me a lot of money and downtime, I'd be sending this thing back for that. There's no reason that a reman water pump should have an oversized bolt hole on it. They should have fixed it, helicoiled it, or chucked the core. You know, there's kind of no excuse for that. I'm not very happy about that. Even though I don't like it, it cost me, by the time I could get another water pump, get it here, it would probably cost me over $1,000 in downtime. So I guess we're just gonna put this on here, and I don't know, I'll call them and see what they want to do. Maybe I can get them to send me another water pump and change this sucker again when it gets here, and just run this one for right now. I don't know if I even want to screw with that. If that larger bolt will work, I mean, it's not gonna stop it from working, but I'm just not very happy about that. They should have higher quality standards than that, especially at $590 for a new water pump. Alright, so that's all torqued down now. I like to, because these are cast steel, because these water pumps are cast steel, I like to just take a little black spray paint. That way they don't look all rusty in a month. See, by pushing in on the belt and pulling down at the same time, I'm able to keep the tension on the belt so it grips a little harder, so I can pull on these, so I can torque these bolts down nice and tight. And this Airline's just your standard push lock connector. That's good there. Alright, now that should all be done except for filling it back up with coolant. Alright, so it's all full of coolant. I don't see it leaking anywhere, so fire it up, get it up to temperature, and make sure we're good to go. So we're all the way warmed up now. I don't see any leaks anywhere. What do you say, Inspector Jimmy? Did we do a good job? Huh? Did we do a good job? You don't care? You ready to go? Huh? You ready to go? Come on.